deputy was killed. But when you have someone
you see that
behaving like this and justifying it in their minds,
you see how he looking at them? That's that look of like, you took mine, so I took one of yours. What's the word with it, man? So look, man, a father is being charged with revenge of killing a deputy due to his teenage son being killed by law enforcement. So we finna go ahead and get into this reaction video, man, and let's see what's going on, man. Let's get it.
Yesterday, a recently retired sheriff's deputy has died after police say a driver intentionally hit him. The driver of that vehicle is the father of an 18-year-old that Cincinnati police shot during an altercation on Thursday. Our Taylor Davis joins us live from the Justice Center to give us the latest details on this ongoing story. Taylor, what can you tell us so far?
Well, we know a lot still has to happen here in this case, but again, we're here at the Hamilton County Justice Center this morning because we're just learning that Rodney Hinton Jr., the man accused of this, will be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for an arraignment. Now, if you take a look at this video, let me take you back to this scene, this unspeakable scene. Now, what we've learned is Hinton, again, is the father of the 18-year-old who was killed in the officer-involved shooting on Thursday in East Price Hill. Now, the deputy who was unfortunately lost his life yesterday helping manage traffic when he was struck by a vehicle at the intersection. Now, Cincinnati police are accusing Hinton of driving the vehicle, leaving behind this unspeakable scene that you're taking a look at on your screen right now. Now, the deputy later died at the hospital. We learned from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department that the deputy had recently retired and was only working special duty. Now, as each department mourns this morning, they also say this is still a situation being investigated.
Let the processes play out. Let the investigations play out. Keep calm, take care of one another, and I can assure you, as the chief of police for Cincinnati, I will ensure you transparency and a thorough and accurate investigation.
We also know that Hinton is being charged with aggravated murder. Again, we'll be going inside at 9 a.m. for an arraignment, and you can find all those updated details on our website and on our app. In downtown Cincinnati with photojournalist Savannah Terry, Taylor Davis, Fox 19 Now.
Tragedies out of Ohio. A family in Ohio is dealing with the loss of a loved one, while a sheriff's office is mourning the loss of a deputy. Both sides are connected by the suspect involved. My next guest has more details.
and joining us on the Factor Uncensored to talk about this case, we have Greg Dupree, former law enforcement officer with TLAC now. Greg, we know Rodney Hinton is being held without bond for aggravated murder in Cincinnati after police there said he ran over and intentionally hit and killed a deputy. This is after his son was killed by law enforcement officers only days before his son is 18-year-old Ryan Hinton, a suspect in a crime. So your thoughts about this case?
It's just tragic that you have, if I'm giving this guy his due process, if this guy intentionally tried to kill a law enforcement officer, it's despicable on his part. You know, no matter what his motivation was, your son lost his life while in the commission of a crime, and you decide to take revenge on law enforcement officers who wasn't even with the same department. But aside from that, the total act of this type of crime, he ain't had
that officer or that deputy didn't have anything to do with it.
Like this, and we have to say allegedly behaving like this. He was in court. He was arraigned on the charges. I think more than 30 law enforcement officers were there to see his arraignment because a deputy was killed. But when you have someone behaving like this and justifying it in their minds, a life for a life, or as we know, an eye for an eye, is this a minds of because a deputy was killed? But when you have someone
you see that
behaving like this and justifying it in their minds,
you see how he looking at them? That's that look of like, you took mine, so I took one of yours. That's basically what that walkout was about. That's basically what that head gesture was. That's basically what that stare down was. You took one of mine, so I took one of yours. Basically, that's what it's looking like to me.
A life for a life, or as we know, an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Is this a dangerous precedent that we're setting as a society if we believe that?
Well, I think the precedent has already been set, Isaiah. It's this, even though this crime is, I guess, you don't see it covered that often. Incidents like this have taken place before. I mean, for decades. In the departments I worked in, we had officers lose their lives because someone wanted to kill a police officer. So it's not something that's new. The concern here is copycats and the frequency these incidents might occur. You know, you can go all the way back to January 6th in the Capitol when they were storming the Capitol, and it was the total disrespect and violence that was perpetrated against the law enforcement officers who were just doing their job there was just as despicable. And, you know, when you talk about setting a precedent, that could have triggered a lot more people to say, well, heck, if these guys can disrespect cops, I can do the same thing. And that wall of respect that generally separates the majority of the public from law enforcement or acting like this, I believe is starting to wear thin or even come down. So it does set a precedent that can be very dangerous for law enforcement officers going forward.
For those who are wondering exactly why Rodney Hinton did this, what is his son accused of and what happened to his son that took him down this path, or so we believe?
Okay. From my understanding, his son was driving a stolen vehicle with two other individuals, and they were spotted by a fugitive unit in Cincinnati, and they attempted to pull him over. And two officers, when they attempted to pull him over, he got out of the car and started running. Two officers gave chase. He evidently slipped and fell, and one of the officers believed he heard and saw Mr. Hinton drop a gun and then pick it up and then run and hide behind a dumpster. Well, that officer that saw it, he yelled out to his partner that the guy had a gun, and they cornered him on both sides of behind the dumpster, and the other officer shot at him 5 times, hitting him twice, once in the chest and once in the arm, and he died right there at the scene.
Damn.
And of course, it's our understanding that Rodney, the father, was shown, or members of the family, including Rodney, the father, was shown the surveillance video or the body cam footage.
Body cam, right.
And saw what happened to his son. And do you think that triggered something? What? Because typically in body camera footage, the family is shown more than what's provided to the public.
Right,
they get
correct.
to see the raw details of that video.
Right. Yeah, well, anytime it's got to be no matter what the circumstances are, it's got to be a tragic experience for a parent to not only lose their child, but actually see their child die. And, you know, I can understand how somebody can snap as a result of that. But even so, it doesn't justify the actions that took place after that.
You're absolutely right. And what we have, or our understanding, is this deputy who was killed, what many consider revenge killing, had nothing to do with the case.
Exactly. Neither did his department. It was from a totally different department. So, if this was his intent, I think he was just looking for the first copy or law enforcement officer he could find to take his revenge out on.
The separate session of the Hamilton County Municipal Court is now in session. Judge Tyrone Yates is presiding this morning. We ask that you turn off all cell phones. You may be seated. Please remain quiet during all proceedings.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor.
First case load out to Rodney Hinton.
Okay, thank you.
There's a lot of officers in there. A lot of them. A lot of deputies. They can't wait to see him. Damn, look how they looking at him.
Good morning, Mr. Hinton. Good morning.
He said good morning, Judge. He's very soft-spoken.
Okay, all right. Thank you. All right.
That must be his lawyer. His lawyer looking like, man.
Anything
This is an awkward situation.
Your Honor, we'll waive probable cause this morning.
Even for the lawyer.
I submitted designations for John Kennedy and Timothy Bicknell. They will be the attorneys of record handling Mr. Hinton's case. I'll be handling the arraignment this morning.
All right, thank you. Mr. Prosecutor, or anything as to bond?
As to bond, Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we understand this is a very, very serious, very terrible charge that Mr. Hinton is facing. He has a risk, but he does not have a history, Judge. He has no felonies in his record. His risk assessment score was a 1. He had no juvenile record. He works at UDF. He's married. He's a father. He's a graduate of Purcell Marion. Purcell Marion.
I ain't gonna lie, they don't want to hear none of that.
I understand that this is an emotionally charged situation. I understand that Mr. Hinton's son may have been killed by the police earlier in the week. There was a review of that video. I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now, but in the community at large. And we just ask the court to set a reasonable bond in light of everything and to allow the our constitutional process to play out.
All right, thank you. Andy, you've given me a pre-trial services sheet. Is that right this morning? All right, the court has had a chance to review that and his past history. Is there anything from the state through the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the
Could you
prosecution.
give us more volume, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Nelson on behalf of the prosecution. What we believe that the evidence will show is that yesterday, on about the 2nd of May, the defendant was traveling, I believe it would be eastbound on Martin Luther King Avenue at MLK, I believe at Burnett Woods, at the intersection, I believe immediately north to the rear entrance of the University of Cincinnati. The defendant stops his car. The defendant, in a way that was calculated and premeditated, lined up his car, deliberately accelerated his car, and purposely caused the death of an on-duty deputy sheriff who was doing a detail at that intersection. As such, we are going to be seeking indictment for aggravated murder, and we would request, in accordance with ORC 2937-222, for a no bond hearing. That rule requires that hearing be set within 3 business days, so we are seeking to set that date on the 6th of May of 2025. That will be next Tuesday.
So yeah, man, this is an unfortunate situation, man. Don't no father want to bury their son due to a police shooting. You know, it's very unfortunate, but it doesn't justify you getting revenge on a deputy that doesn't have anything to do with it, nor work for the department that did that situation. You know what I'm saying? I understand his pain. I understand what he's going through. You know, I can feel it. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, you just got to let the justice system handle it. You just got to let the justice system handle it, because that's not justice. You know what I'm saying? Because now you just lost your life. You know, and I know it's hard. And that's why we got to teach our kids. That's why we got to teach our kids about the law. We got to teach our kids about crime, and we got to teach our kids about consequences and repercussions that comes with what they do in life. You know, you got to teach your son and your daughters where, you know, do they want to live or die? You know what I'm saying? And that's just real. But I understand his pain. I understand how he feel, but it doesn't justify what he did. You feel what I'm saying? I just really can't imagine it, man, because, you know, we love our kids. I have kids myself. You know what I'm saying? We love our kids and we'll die for our kids. But to prevent things from like this happening, you got to teach your kids, man. That's all you got to teach your kids. And long as you taught them, then that all that matters, you know. After a certain age, and, you know, you can't tell them what to do. But long as you teach them growing up about the law and crimes and situations, like, man, it really should prevent a lot of things from happening, you know. But yeah, we love our kids. We love our loved ones, man. We'll do anything for them. We'll die for them. You know what I'm saying? And I guess this just was one of them situations. You feel what I'm saying? But like I said, it don't give him the right to do what he did. You feel me? I understand his pain, but it doesn't give him the right to do what he did. The system not gonna allow that. You know, they don't care. They don't care if you was sad. They don't care if that's your son. They don't care. They do care, but they just don't care that you got revenge for it. Because you're not supposed to get revenge for anything that happens. So, yeah, man, it's an unfortunate situation, man. This crazy work. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know how to feel. I don't know how he feel. I don't know how to feel because, yeah, like, who want to see their son get killed by the police, man? But some things you got to let go and some things you can't let go. You know, so on his end, he couldn't let that go. So let me know what y'all think about this video, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so y'all can know when I'm posting, man. It's your boy Montana. I'm out.